DraftKings making a progressive move, I think that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past, adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
To the 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
So what are your impressions of Valhalla, just for folks that have not seen it on TV or didn't watch the Ryder Cups or past majors?
You know, they see a PGA maybe at a Southern Hills, Boone, or a Bet Page, or, whatever it may be, and they're like, Valhalla and Louisville, Kentucky, but like, look at the tournaments produced, and it's insane. Yeah. It really has, and obviously, of course, I'm a bias toward it.
Only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast, hour number 3 here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Joe, I've done a very bad job of not keeping you updated with the baseball this afternoon because there is a lot of it. You should have listened to me. I told you that we should have took the Twins when they were down 3-1 at plus 130. You didn't want to do it. The Twins won 10-5 over the Sox. Brewers won 7-1. Tigers beat the Cards 4-1. Reds are up 1-0 on the Padres in the fourth. Phillies are up 2-1 on the Angels in the third. The Braves up 5-0 on the Mariners in the fifth inning.
Smashed them! I got that over. Smashed them!
You need more than that. You need a little bit more than that.
Smashed them! I told you that was suspect. You dangle even money. You're a little plus 105 on the over. I bite like the Banjo Minnow back in the day. Oh, I love it.
The Banjo Minnow. And the A's are beating the Pirates again. It's 3-0 in the bottom of the sixth as the Pirates have all kinds of problems at the dump. And the Royals are up 3-1 on the Blue Jays in the top of the eighth in Toronto. So the Blue Jays, Joe,
no good.
Not going well for them in that series. You mentioned to me right before the break about the Rangers and the Hurricanes. That, of course, will be the second-round matchup in the Eastern Conference for the Stanley Cup playoffs. They have played a bunch of times, Joe, the last couple of years in the playoffs. Carolina beat them last year. Minus 145 for the Canes for the series. Now, Rangers, who are the President's Trophy winners, and obviously have home ice. They are the best record in the NHL this year, are plus 120. Joe, you know that I have grown up in my life as an Islander fan here on Long Island. I would never in my life root for the Rangers for anything. I'm rooting for the Rangers in this year. I think the Rangers are going to beat Carolina. I'm tired of the Carolina nonsense. Every year they get pumped up like there's some great... They lose every year. Favorites again right now. I think they're plus 360 or something like that to win the Cup. Get serious. The Rangers are going to beat Carolina, Joe, in this series. I'm sure Ranger fans don't like hearing that from me. Having an Islander fan come up here and pump up the Rangers. Rangers in 6, Joe. They'll beat the Hurricanes in this series. Rangers in 6.
I'm going to tickle your belly a little bit because I like the Rangers too. And I'll tell you what, let's go back to the days of a little Ron Greschner, a little Pat LaFontaine, my personal favorite Bernie Nichols and Mike Richter. How about that? I think Ottawa's frauds. I don't think they're that good. I think they're a product of your gutless Islanders. That's what I meant. That's what I meant, Carolina. All right. Everybody makes a mistake. You know what I meant. Carolina.
The only reason I did that is because you called them Ottawa yesterday too, and I let it slide. I let it go right through the. I let it go through the.
You know why? I think I do that because like similar unis. That's what it is. Similar uniforms, and I also love that you listed 4 Ranger players who never played with each other, which is great. But you had basically 4 different eras of Rangers there. Messier, I can name them all. You could name them all. Gomez at the end of his career, wasn't he?
No cups for him, Drew Joe. Baker. Not in the Rangers, at least. No cups for him. Rangers. In the Western Conference Series last night, Colorado finished off the Jets in 5. Rantanen had a couple of goals in the third period. They won the game 6-3. Hellebuck was an absolute disgrace for Winnipeg in that series. He's probably going to win the Vezina Trophy, but he got absolutely smashed in this first round. So an awful job by him. I'll go past Rantanen because I do want to play a carrier with the Predators. This game, Predators and Canucks, Joe, was scoreless going into the third period. So a very tight game with the Canucks looking to send them home. Canucks took a 1-0 lead. Here comes Nashville, Joe. They get a Yossi goal and then Alexander Carrier putting them ahead on TNT a couple minutes later.
Turns out of the corner. Fires it up high. Carries that score! And the Predators have a 2-1 lead! Alexander Carrier! And with 7:13 to go in the third, it is 2-1
Nashville. Can they steal it? Can they steal it?
Carrier.
Can Nashville steal it?
Give me what are the Nashville odds here to win this series down 3-2? I believe they are. We're gonna punch them up right now for you. Plus 275.
Carver.
I'm willing to take Nashville to win this series, Joe. I'm willing to take Nashville to win this series.
Yeah, this, if I'm not mistaken, and I have a photographic memory, this is the exact same odds of last year with Florida and Boston when they were down 3-2. I believe Florida was plus 275 when they were down 3-2 and they were heading back to Boston. I believe that, or Florida, whatever game they won in terms of game 6. So it's similar. It's juicy to me, and I like Nashville. They're gutty, blue collar. I love their wingers. They fly off the corner, man. They fly. Let's take the Predators. Come on.
You love their wingers. I'm in on the Predators. Absolutely. You know what? But this is one of those spots, Joe. Like, if you like, I always like doing this, and you know me. If you like the Predators to win Game 6 at home, just take the plus 275. Because then you're holding that going into Vancouver for the Game 7. That's kind of where when you get to the end of these series, Joe, if you're not already invested in the series in some aspect, I like doing that with the team that's down 3-2. Give me that plus 275, and then I can carry that into Game 7 with me, and I got a little bit of juice there. And I got a chance that maybe I could take the other team if Nashville gets up a goal or two in that Game 7. So I like doing that, Joe. Carolina's the favorites to win the East right now, because they're the Carolina Hurricanes. They're the best team in hockey.
Frauds.
They're the best
frauds
team
all of a sudden.
Right
Carolina.
now at plus 200. Panthers as well. They're actually co-favorites, Joe. They're right there together. Rangers, Bruins, and the Maple Leafs, of course, are still hanging in there, hanging by a thread. Maple Leafs a big price, Joe, if they ever came back and beat Boston in that series. You get a good Maple Leaf price.
Yeah, you're better off betting both. I mean, why not just bet both, the plus 550 and plus 20 to 1? I mean, I'll tell you what, I like Boston. I have a ticket on them 12 to 1. I have it with LSU to win the national championship. And Toronto
what don't
Blue
you
Jays
have with LSU to win the national championship?
Toronto Blue Jays to make the playoffs. Is there a
ticket you have that doesn't have LSU to win the national championship attached to it? Is there any play?
I have Georgia, San Francisco. Wait, Georgia, San Francisco Giants to make the playoffs, Blue Jays to make the playoffs, Denver to win it all, Nuggets, and Boston to win the cup.
Wait, this is all in the same ticket? This is all in the same ticket?
So Boston will win the Cup. Okay. Boston will win the Cup. Okay. Nuggets to win the championship. Blue Jays and Giants to both make the playoffs. And the Georgia Bulldogs to be crowned the national champs.
God bless and good luck, Joe. That is all. You talk.
I said it.
That's
not
a
you,
lot
me.
of baggage. You got a lot of baggage there for that. As far as the West goes, right now we have, of course, Colorado is through in the West. Edmonton can join them tonight as being through. Oilers right now plus 200. Then the Avalanche, Stars, Canucks, Vegas, Nashville, and the Kings. The Kings may be going home tonight, Joe, which we'll talk about in a moment. I still think the Star price is pretty good, Joe, with them tied 2-2.
Yeah, the Star. I mean, I don't know. The Stars. You love the Stars. They better win tonight. I'll tell you that. They'll be dead to me if they don't win. Everybody's on this Draisaitl, Hyman, and who's the guy? McDavid that everybody bets. When we bet him, he never comes
McDavid's the main guy.
Because we bet McDavid, whether it be a goal or 2 goals, and then it's Draisaitl and Hyman. We bet Hyman and Draisaitl, then it's McDavid. We can never win with that
6-1 Royals. 6-1 Royals in Toronto. 6-1 Royals.
Extend.
We'll come back. We'll continue Golf Wednesdays on C2C. Keith Stewart from Read the Line is with us as we get ready for the Byron Nelson and CJ Cup out down in Texas. We're back coast to coast right after this. The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
This sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back from coast to coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. Of course, it is Golf Wednesdays on C2C as we get ready for this week. The PGA Tour heads to Texas, back to Texas, we should say, TPC Craig Ranch, and the Byron Nelson CJ Cup. They've added to that as well. Keith Stewart from Read the Line is with us every week to get ready for this week's event and to go over some things from this past weekend. Hi, Keith. How are you?
I'm well, Carver, and condolences on your Islanders. They aren't my Rangers, but you know what?
Yeah.
We shall both move on, I'm sure.
We will both move on. Look, I'm very realistic about it, Keith. They're not as good as these other teams. They're not. That's just kind of the way that it goes sometimes. I will say, and I've hated the Rangers my whole life, I hope they beat the Hurricanes in the second round. I will say that. I've had enough of the Carolina Hurricanes. So hopefully the Rangers can at least – I could root against the Rangers in the East Finals. Go and get rid of Carolina for me and do me that favor. Keith, let's start with a couple things from this past weekend before we move on to the Byron. Number one, you continue to stay hot here. We both had winners this weekend. We're both staying hot, but I want to focus on you because you went to the LPGA. Now, not back to Nelly, but you went somewhere else and you're cashing the ticket. We love the big numbers, Keith. What'd you have?
Well, Hannah Green was out there in the LA Championship. She was the defending champion of that event at Wilshire Country Club, which is one of the more premier events on the LPGA Tour. Nelly, after winning 5 in a row, ending with a major, she took the week off, so we had a chance to play it straight up. Nobody has better strokes gained career at this place than Hannah Green. She's only lost to one person in the last now 3 years. So at 35-1, because she missed the cut at the Chevron, I mean, you have to know the LPGA. Hannah does this all the time. She goes into a major, she plays horrible, she comes back the next week and she contends. Well, she did it at a place that she loves. And you know, we talk about this stuff, we get deep in the weeds all the time. But Wilshire and LA, always LA Country Club last year at the US Open, they play much like those sandbelt courses down in Australia. And guess what? Hannah Green's from Australia, and that's why she loves it so much. We just killed it. I got a top 10 at 4-1, and I got the winner at 35-1. So in back-to-back weeks, we're clearing over 70-1 just on the LPGA and Scotty alone. You got to love it.
I absolutely love it, Keith. That is outstanding. Nice job with Hannah there. I also got to the winner's circle. Didn't have anything big like that. I went chalk last week because I told you I love the Irish guys. I'm going to play Rory and the Irish Bear out at the Zurich. It was plus 750. But winners are winners, Keith, and we absolutely love that. But what I want to bring up to you about the Zurich, and this was like the biggest takeaway for me, not just the fact that I went to the window, was the fact that Rory, for the first time in a few years, and he's had the weight of the world on his shoulders, being the front man in the fight against Liv for 2 years. You know, Keith, there's the videos of him doing the karaoke with Shane and the Don't Stop Believin'. He's got the beers in his hand. He's smiling, Keith, and he's having a good time. And it's kind of the first time the public's gotten to see that from Rory in a long time. And maybe that will serve him well in a couple of places that he's played very well in the past, the Wells Fargo and at Valhalla for the PGA Championship.
Yeah, I mean, this couldn't come at a better time, Carver. If you're a Rory McIlroy fan and you're in his camp, you know, it has been an awful start to the year. He's only had one top 10, hasn't really contended at the Masters in a couple years, and then now he rolls into this team event. It's a brand new event for him. He plays with his buddy. He goes down there, he gets in a playoff against two guys that, you know, Joe doesn't even know the names of. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, when they showed up, it was like, here we go. We got two major winners. They win the playoff. Rory has got to feel really, really good about now probably being the second best golfer in the world. I mean, since Jon Rahm was even worse at the Masters, you know, we'll see what he does in Singapore this week. Rory's going into Quail Hollow, which he loves. He's going back to the place which 10 years ago was the last site that he won a major championship, Valhalla, in a couple weeks. This is perfect timing for Rory. And, you know, it honestly, getting back involved with the pack and all these other things, maybe he's choosing his own destiny. You know, life's not linear, Carver, and it has its ups and downs, and I'm happy. I'm not a huge Rory fan. I would love to see Spieth make some sort of a comeback like this. It's not coming this week, but I am happy to see Rory go, because when Rory goes, golf goes, and you know what? When it's popular, everybody loves to come and watch us on SportsGrid.
They certainly do, Keith, that's for sure. We'll see how, of course, Rory will be near the top of the board the next few weeks. Let's talk about the top of the board this week. As you mentioned, Jordan Spieth is playing at Craig Ranch, the Byron Nelson, as it's always been, CJ Cup attached to it as well now. He is the favorite. We've talked a lot about Jordan the last few weeks. Not a lot of other big names here. Day, of course, is the defending champion of this event. We lost Willie Z early in the week. It looked like he was going to play. Good spot for Jordan here to maybe get right before a couple of these big tournaments, Keith?
I'm not quite sure if it's a great spot for Jordan to get right. I mean, the things that he's going to need to do well to score here, I mean, this event overall, it's just a race to 30 birdies. I mean, how low can you go over the next couple of days? And Jordan hasn't been hot in a while. And, you know, just coming into this week, I was like, where does this guy stand in the FedEx Cup? I mean, he's 44th in points. He's not even in the Tour Championship yet. He's had a very mediocre season. He's missed a bunch of cuts. He's missed 3 of his last 5 cuts. And you and I have talked about this before. He's only won twice in the last 7 years. That's a long time. And I really would love to see him play more events and do well at more events like the Heritage, which I think suit his game a lot more than, you know, when he hasn't been very warm to come into one of these birdie fests and think that just because he's sleeping in his own bed, he's going to take it deep.
Yeah, and look, this is a long course. It's one of the, I think it's in the top 10 longest courses that they play on the PGA Tour this year. So we're going to need some bombers out there this week. When we come back, Keith, we will get the plays from you. We have the outrights, we have the placements, we have the head-to-heads. The good thing is, as always, me and you are reading the same mail on a bunch of these, especially with guys like Mark Put the Cupboard in the Hubbard that we have coming up. So we have a few guys that we are going to be with, and when we come back, we will do that. Keith Stewart is with us from Read the Line. Ferrall, coast to coast, here on a Wednesday, a golf Wednesday, on C2C on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. We will come back with Keith and get all the Byron Nelson picks for you right after this on the Grid.
The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The Early Line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back coast to coast here on a Wednesday. Carver High in for Scotty. Keith Stewart is with us from Read the Line. We're going to get all of his plays for the Byron Nelson coming up this week. I was mentioning before the break, Keith, this is a very long course, one of the longest ones out there on the tour. How does that affect what you're going to be doing this week as well with how big this course is?
7,400 yards, and it's going to play like 8,000 because I don't know. I don't want to get you upset, but we've got weather coming this week. And we've already gotten rain.
Come on.
I don't know what to tell you. It's lift, clean, and Carver week. I mean, it's lift, clean, and place. They're going to get a ton. They've already gotten a ton of rain. They're going to get more rain on Thursday, Friday. You got to watch your waves. You got to be on the weatherunderground.com. You got to be checking these things out because it's going to make the golf course play longer. But it's also, like I said earlier, it's this race to 30 birdies this week. How low can you go? And this is going to turn it into target practice. And that leads me right into my board because the guys that I'm choosing on my outright card, they can go low. And that's what you have to do. Let's start with Thomas Dietrich. I mean, this guy, he's got a super scorching hot putter. Over his last 5 starts, he's gaining over 4 strokes on the field with his flat stick. Super good, right? 4th at Pebble, 2nd at Houston. Last week, he had a top 10 at the Zurich. He's seen the ball go in the hole a bunch, and I love that golf swing. I also love Mac Hughes. Mac Hughes is trying to make a President's Cup bid, and he's probably on the outskirts a little bit there. A win here would do a lot for his candidacy on Mike Weir's team there at Royal Montreal in September. He's another guy with a super hot putter. He's coming off 5 straight top 40s. He's been on a bunch of our cards, you and I, a little deeper on the card lately. You got Mark Hubbard. Here's another guy, 3rd last week. And with all due respect to Ryan Brem, Mark Hubbard was the engine that was running that Zurich team there. He can go low. He can score, par 5 scorer. And then the other guy, Justin Lauer, for sure, triple digits on the odds there. And you got to love this guy. When you start to run the numbers on birdie or better percentage and birdies gained, this guy's at the top of the list. Nobody knows who he is except you and I. He's on the card, and you got to take him.
You got to have him involved. And I think it's a good week for deep shots, right, Keith? It's a good week to maybe go a little bit further into the bag. We saw a lot of this in January and February. Some deeper guys winning. The stars aren't here this week. Maybe a possibility for one of these guys to do it as well. I'm with you on Hubbard. I would love to see him come through. Give me the placements as well. Again, we're together on a bunch, and I won with Ireland last week. I got to go back to Ireland with Seamus Power this week, Keith.
Well, for sure. And you touched upon it there. Everybody at the top of the board, the chalk this week's got issues, right? I mean, Will Zalatoris was smart to pull out. So it really opens up the field in that 40 to 100 range. And that's where, the only guy I really like at the top, and I put him for a top 10, was Siwoo Kim. He was 2nd last year, and he tends to gain with the putter at this golf course because it's not the most difficult with which to use on these greens. They're pretty flat, pretty vanilla. So I love him for a top 10. When you get in the top 20s, Alex Noren, great course history here. Of course, Mac Hughes, I already mentioned, and Seamus Power, 3 straight top 20s here. And I'm always on site, right? So back at the Heritage, I saw Seamus Power hitting balls on Tuesday and Wednesday before I talked to you on Golf Wednesday. And I said, man, Seamus Power's playing some pretty good golf here. I mean, he's hitting the ball nicely. Then all of a sudden, top 12 at RBC. So now he's definitely on my radar. You look at his history at Craig Ranch, 3 top 20s. You got to love it. Now, stretch a little more, go to those top 40s. Taylor Pendrith, another Canadian fighting to get on that team. Great long driver. We already stated you're going to need length and a good putter to go along with it. You don't see that combination a lot. I like him. I also like Matty Schmid, another scoring machine. Since the Players, the guy's been super hot, and he fills the cup up a ton. And then one guy, local guy, native to Dallas, Vince Whaley. Vince has some good history there. He doesn't have good history recently, but I feel like in the top 40 zone, I'm going to take 1 or 2 flyers, so I love Vince there.
One of my favorite first-round leader bombs occasionally is Vince Whaley. We always like to throw him in at some big numbers. We'll see if we can get him started tomorrow. Finally, the head-to-heads. We go back to Seamus.
Seamus over Bo Hostler, and I've got Thomas Dietrich over Adam Schenk. And the reason is for both, I'm going against Schenk and Hostler, is that their approach game lately hasn't been very good. It hasn't been to the level that it was last year. These guys are struggling with their iron game. And when you got to get to 30 birdies, you've got to hit a ton of greens in regulation. And I just don't see these guys coming up with the proximity to make those putts. So I love the other guys in the head-to-heads.
There you go, Keith. Tremendous job this week down at TPC Craig Ranch. We will try to once again, not going to try, we're going to go to the window again here on Golf Wednesdays. Keith Stewart, read the line. We're back coast to coast right after this.
the 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us here today. All right, Joe, we have two games tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. We will start in Dallas, where the road team has won all 4 games of this series so far. Dallas lost the first 2 at home, then won the next 2 out at the T-Mobile, back to the American Airlines Center tonight, where they are minus 160 now against the Vegas Golden Knights, plus 135 for them, a 5.5 total. Vegas making a goalie change too, Joe, as Thompson is out, Aiden Hill is in. We want Dallas, that's for sure. I got a feeling that the home team, somebody's going to win on home ice eventually, I think, in this series. Why not Dallas tonight, Joe, to get us jump-started? Let's go.
We got them right where we want them. I like Dallas here. Now maybe I'm wrong, Carver. My acumen as it relates to NHL hockey is like maybe 60-40. Wasn't Aiden Hill a goaltender for the Stars? Or no?
No, Joe. No.
Oh, okay.
Hill was on the Knights last year. Hill and Thompson were part of all the goalies they played.
Oh, that's right. Okay, there you go. All right. So Aiden Hill was the goaltender that got hot for them. I remember. Okay, now I do. I thought for some reason.
Yes.
All right. So
you've seen
here's
Aiden
the
Hill
thing.
before.
Yeah, he's a sieve. That's even good. So let's go over the 5.5. Okay, over the 5.5. Dallas.
All right.
And I already put this in. I already put this in at plus 240 earlier today. Lupe Hintz for a goal. Lupe Hintz for a goal.
Lupe Hintz, yes. All right.
I have him at plus 240 from this morning. I put him in with a couple of totals tonight.
You got Rupe tonight at plus 240, huh? Why? What is he now? Did it move? Yeah, he moved a little. Plus 200, Joe. You moved the number. That's for sure.
Rupe Hintz. This guy Aiden Hill's a rat. He's got more holes than Swiss cheese. Let's put it right in him. He's a rat. Going down
I like
tonight.
The Stars tonight.
Hill.
I like the Stars.
You want to lay the
tonight,
goal in half?
to win that game.
You want to lay that?
You know what? You want to do that? I'll do it. I'll lay the goal and a half.
All right, so let's do this. Over.
Okay.
Dallas minus the goal and a half and hints.
Right. Listen, how about we do this?
No good.
I got one. Let's try one more before we get to the other game. How about we take the puck line, minus 1.5 for Dallas, and we put it with the golf? How about we put it with
You've been loaded up with the golf all day. No good.
With that Skins top 20 at plus 600 that we were talking about last night.
What about Rico Hoey? No, I want Rico Hoey and Ben
No, we're done now. You moved on to these guys that don't matter.
Those are my guys.
We can't have those guys.
My guys, Rico Hoey.
Yeah, those are your guys.
How do you say his name? Hoey?
The Kings will try to stay alive tonight in Edmonton against the Oilers. Of course, the Oilers are up 3-1 in that series. They're minus 190 tonight, plus $1.55 for LA. A flat 6 is the total here, Joe. Who are you going with? You're going with Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid?
No, I'm going with the Kings tonight. It seems too easy. That line is indicative of the Kings being live tonight. Plus 155, I want to take the Kings. And what about the Kings goaltender? Is he hot? You want to take him for what, 29 saves?
Is he hot?
We know that they're gonna pepper him with
shots tonight. Rittich is
going
to start for the Kings tonight. Now, look, they lost a 1-0 game at home in Game 4. Rittich didn't play poorly in that game. They'll put him back between the pipes tonight. His number's 27.5. That's what his number's at. So,
let's do 31, right over 30. I mean, those three are good for about 14 shots on goal.
If you want to go swim in those waters with the alt goalie saves tonight, have fun.
I love the goalie.
You hit it last night with Gorgiev.
Want to put it with Toasty?
Yeah, Toasty top 20. We can get him involved also. We got to start throwing some top 20s and 10s in, Joe. All the outrights.
I got
one
to bet first. I'll do this only once because it's like a sell me something here. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
The kid, Rittich, is that his name? 31 goals, saves. And we'll put it with Skins top 10. I think that's top 10 or top 10 was like 14 to 1.
20. Top 20. I'm not doing top. He's got 2 top 10s in the last 6 weeks. I'll go 20. I think he's going to be around this weekend. I don't want to go that heavy, Joe. We got a weather situation now. Keith's telling me this week it's going to be raining every day.
That's good. That's good for the kid.
He's from Sheffield, England. I know. He's from over there. He's. Oh, you mean Toasty or Skins? Skins is from England, Joe. Skins is from England. Don't worry.
He went to Tennessee. I know he played at Tennessee. I know he played in Tennessee. We'll go with both.
I think Edmonton's going to rack them tonight and end the series.
Oh, now you know why. Now I know I'm on the right side. Kings outright.
Okay.
You were on the Jets last night. I was on the Avalanche, and I told you they would smash them. I think the Kings win outright. 4-3, Kings win. We'll go over and the goalie,
Rittich. I have a few things for baseball from you from last night that I wanted to play you. I got a couple walk-offs. Let me give you the Astro walk-off first. Of course, the Astros in Cleveland, they played a wild game last night, 10-9. Houston walks it off in 10 innings. In fact, Joe, Victor Caratini doing the honors on Space City Sports Network. How about this?
Pitches around against left-handed hitters. Pretty even mix between fastball, changeup, and slider. Go ball.
That ball hit pretty well to right. And there's a walk-off. A walk-off with 2 outs. Victor Caratini, the star of the game. The Astros, who have struck the extra innings, walk it off 10-9.
Caratini with the walk. There was a bunch of homers in that game too, Joe. That was a good tater time game last night between those two. Yes.
They're getting all gassed up, a 10-9 win over Cleveland in like early May.
Well, you got to remember, Joe. I mean, Houston's now, they're 10-19 on the year. I mean, they were 10 games under. They're off to a miserable start. Those guys in the Houston booth haven't had much to cheer about so far this year. So there you go. They get excited after the big win.
Where's Mattress Mac? Can he throw them some coin?
Yeah, throw them some coin. The Angels are losing to the Phillies 2-1 in the 5th. They lost to the Phillies last night. Mike Trout's going to be out for an undetermined amount of time, Joe, of course. He's going to be having surgery on his knee, the meniscus tear. Another injury for Trout, which absolutely sucks. He had 10 homers already this year. He was playing great. very emotional yesterday, Joe, when they tried to talk to him.
Mike, what are the emotions that you're feeling right now?
It's tough. Don't know. I'll get through it.
Just at a loss for words for another big injury?
Yeah. It's just frustrating. But we'll get through it.
What's it? Joe, it's hard because what's he supposed to say? Like, you think he wants to be injured? Like, honestly, he wants to be out there playing. I mean, he realized before all these injuries he's had, Joe, the kind of path that he was on in terms of all-time greats, the trajectory for him before he had all these injuries, and every other one that he gets is just, he's not going to be what we thought he was going to be now in terms of end game numbers, greats of all time type of stuff, because he was on that path before all these injuries.
The good news is his rookie card is still worth $20 million now. I mean, it's all right.
With the
give him the Academy Award. That was a little over the top. It looked like a B action film there. He was crying so hard.
Yeah, no compassion for anyone, Joe.
None.
It's all about you. If the guy doesn't put,
how about this? If you sat on the sidelines for 8 months out of the year and you still collected $45 million, you'd be crying too.
If he's not putting money in your pocket, you ain't rooting for him. That's pretty much how it goes. Coast to coast, we're back on the grid right after this. The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere. I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast, here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Great to have everybody with us. Of course, we've been talking Stanley Cup playoffs here in BetMGM. They have got a new betting market for the NHL playoffs that you can only get with them. The empty net goal market for entire slates as well as specific games. Find them in the app under the NHL tab, then the props tab. You can also find the specific game markets under each game, along with the NHL props tab. There you go. You got the Knights and the Stars tonight, Kings and the Oilers. We have seen empty net goals pretty consistently here. You know, we had Carolina getting one against the Islanders last night, so you can go back to it. BetMGM, once again, a great new market for the Stanley Cup playoffs there for you. All right, Joe, we do have baseball for tonight that we have to get to. Good mix, Joe, of afternoon and night games today. I don't like when it's top-heavy, one side or the other. We do have ourselves a nice mix between the two. Let's start, Joe. Where are we going to start today? How about this? You know what? I want to bring up Colorado and Miami with you. You were on the over. Weren't you on the over in this game last night?
Yeah.
Colorado. Did you see what happened in this game? It was the first time in Major League history that a team scored 5 runs in the first inning. There was no scoring again until the other team scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning. The first time that it ever happened. So it was 5-0 Colorado after the top of the first. Zeros. Miami ties it at 5 in the bottom half of the 10th. They went into extra innings where after that, Joe, I believe the Marlins won that 7-6 in 10. So that got way over that total for you last night. Tonight they will go at it again, where we will have Dakota Hudson for the Rockies tonight and Rodney Munoz, who going for the Marlins right now. Juicy. Joe, Marlins minus 145, Rockies plus 120, and a flat 9 tonight for this one.
Yeah, let's go up and away, and we'll go with the Marlins. I think the Marlins sneak out tonight. I think they start fast and loose, and we could probably get this game into the 12, 13 teams. Let's do it, Carver. Come on.
I think you got the high-scoring game last night between these two in Miami. I would expect more of those zeros that you saw between the 2nd and the 8th when they get back together tonight. The Yankees playing the 3rd game of a 4-game series in Baltimore against the Orioles. The problem for the Yankees is, Joe, they actually haven't pitched that badly. They've only allowed 6 runs to the Orioles over the 2 games. The problem is they haven't scored. So they've lost the first 2 games, and now they have to face the Orioles' best pitcher, Corbin Burns, tonight. Louis Heel goes for the Yankees. Minus 150 for the O's, plus $1.25 for the Yanks, and an 8.5 total. I don't see them winning again, Joe. I think the Orioles are going to take a 3rd game off of them.
I like the Orioles, and I think we go over. The total is 8.5 at minus 110 either way. So the book is sort of, in flux. If you flip a coin, I like that. We'll take a shot playing the Camden Yards. Up, and away.
The Cubbies and the Mets get together again at Citi Field. They've split the first 2 games. This is the 4-gamer too. Imanaga's going for the Cubs tonight, who's been very good. Jose Butto goes for the Mets. Cubs minus 120. Even money for the Mets, and a 7.5. Kind of like the over 7.5 tonight, Joe. I like the Cubbies to win with Imanaga, but I think the Cubs will score some runs off of Butto.
Maybe I like the Cubs, but I was going to lean to the under, Carver. I don't have any confidence both of those teams could get up there, so it's a no play for me.
Wow. A very surprising result at Fenway last night. Red Sox beat the Giants 4-0, at least for me, because Logan Webb was on the mound. Eric Miller will go for the Giants tonight. Cutter Crawford is going for Boston. They are minus 145, plus $1.20 for the Giants. 8.5 is the total here.
I like the Giants, and I think we get up over the total. Now, with a name like Cutter, you think he throws the old number 2? You think he's throwing the slurve with a name like Cutter? I mean, really. I hope he's got a nice curveball. Hope he doesn't get smashed tonight. I like the Giants.
I guess it's possible, Joe. I like the over in that game as well. Washington did lose in Arlington last night to the Rangers. That was a smash play for you. Andrew Heaney and Trevor Williams will be the starters tonight. Rangers minus 185, plus 150 for the Nats, and a flat 9 here.
Yeah, they're going to get smashed. They won 4 against Miami. They're going to lose the series to the Rangers. The only question is, do we get over that total? I lean to the under, but give me the Rangers. I might even lay the 1.5 tonight.
Want to lay the 1.5 at plus 105. All right, so there you go. As we just talked to you about, the Guardians and the Astros played a wild game in Houston last night, 10-9 in extra innings. Balls were flying out of the yard. Tonight, Justin Verlander goes for Houston. Tristan McKenzie for the Guardians. Stroh's minus 175 plus $1.45 for Cleveland, and an 8.5 here. So, Joe, 19 runs last night. And it was a heavy total because you had Hunter Brown going and Carlos Carrasco. Just down to 8.5 with some better pitchers on the mound. You want to go over again?
Yeah, I'll go over. You could get me in. What is that, an 8 o'clock first pitch?
That is an 8 o'clock for 8 o'clock East.
All right, so let's go. I like the Stros, though. I think the Stros get on a little mini heater here. Last night they get a little, little emotion. They carry through tonight.
And only one late night game for you tonight. The Dodgers are in Arizona again. Did you see the hour-plus delay trying to clear the bees, Joe?
Yes.
Did you like that?
Never get me out there again. I hate
They let
bees.
the beekeeper throw the first pitch after he cleared the bees out. I thought that was great.
Crazy. That's crazy.
So Jordan Montgomery was supposed to start last night, but he warmed up and they weren't ready to go, so Arizona didn't want to chance it. They told him just sit down. He'll try again tonight. Yamamoto goes for the Dodgers, who are minus 135. A flat 9 here, Joe. Pretty big total for Yamamoto and Montgomery. Smells like an over.
Yeah, possibly. I can't. Give me the Diamondbacks, though. I can't. The Dodgers, when they play the Diamondbacks, they struggle every now and then, and the line just doesn't make sense. Give me the Diamondbacks.
There you go. Baseball tonight. I like the Diamondbacks, too. Coast to coast. We're back on the grid right after this. The 2024 Stanley Cup odds, the Hurricanes remain the favorite, followed by the Panthers and the Rangers. Interesting that they all are coming from the similar side of the bracket.
While the Oilers have the top-end talent, I still don't think they have enough depth, and Stuart Skinner does not scare me in net. So I will take a long series from the Oilers and the Kings, and ultimately I think the Stars are the ones coming out of the West for the Stanley Cup.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I will say this. Beal is not going anywhere because I don't think he has enough value. If Phoenix gets knocked out in the first round, especially if this is like a sweep or a 4-1 series win for Minnesota, you will see Kevin Durant and or Devin Booker being traded.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We are back, Ferrall, coast to coast, here on a Wednesday. Carver High and Joe Lisi in for Scotty on SportsGrid and SportsGrid Radio. Good to have everyone with us. All right, Joe, before we get out of here, I'm always, as you know, I'm contracted to make sure I bring up some sort of football with you every day that you're here. It doesn't matter when it is or what it is or for how long. I've got to make sure that I get I get some kind of football in for you before we get out of here. So,
last 6 minutes of the show, you're
Joe,
trying to squeeze it in.
Joe. Let's be fair, Joe. It's very busy here. We've got NHL and NBA playoffs. We got a lot of baseball. It was Golf Wednesday. You know, there's just we got the Derby here, the Run for the Roses. You know, we've got a lot of things that we were zeroing in on this week. But I did find this for you: the biggest risers and fallers in the NFL title odds market. This is from when the odds were put up after the Super Bowl through this off season. The Texans, Joe, have gone from 25 to 11 to 1. Falcons from 50 to 30. Steelers from 80 to 40. On the other side, Jags 30 to 50. Vikings 40 to 66. And the Colts from 50 to 80. The biggest movers and shakers, Joe, on the odds boards throughout this offseason, free agency, draft, etc.
Yeah, I think the one that I disagree with on that list, because they did such a good job last year, they didn't make the playoffs, but they challenged, was the Indianapolis Colts. And what Shane Steichen did in regards to the offensive philosophy, Jonathan Taylor, resurgence, especially at the end of the regular season, you still have some great pieces in terms of the foundation. They did take the first defensive player off the board. So in terms of Latu, I think he's an immediate impact player. I think the Colts should be in the area more like 50 to 1 as opposed to 80 to 1. I know that Minshew now is on another team, but it doesn't matter. You still have AR, you still have Pittman. I mean, come on, 80 to 1.
And I'll say this about that team that they have there at the top, Joe, which is the Houston Texans. And
get out the Billy Club. You're going to bash them. I know it.
Look, that was a great first year for DeMeco Ryans and for C.J. Stroud. We've seen a lot of first-year coach-quarterback combinations have success and then maybe have to take a little bit of a step back. And then you mix in as well, Joe, the team that makes all the biggest and splashiest moves in the offseason. Sometimes a lot of people gravitate to that team in terms of tickets and the odds boards, and guess what? It doesn't really pan out for you at the end of the day. So maybe I think we're swimming a little too fast with Houston. That doesn't mean they're not going to make the playoffs, Joe. I think they could win the AFC South, all that stuff. But 11 to 1 to win the Super Bowl, I think that's a little bit too much too fast for me.
I would put them in the area of about 19 to 1. You know, I think Cleveland maybe would have a better odds now. C.J. Stroud is the difference maker in regards to what he was able to do. He wasn't turnover prone. He was battle tested. He showed poise in the pocket. And the way those wide receivers developed, right? Tank Dell now coming off the injury and what just happened about a week ago in terms of the situation in Florida. Hopefully he comes right back for OTAs, Nico Collins, and now Stephon Diggs. That's going to elevate that offense. If they can get the rushing attack to at least be a little bit more productive, that'll take the pressure off C.J. Stroud. It's the defense, though. What could DeMeco Ryans do? I think he's a great coach. I think Stroud is the real deal, and I'm in agreement with you. I think they definitely make the playoffs, but I still, right here, right now, would put other teams. Forget Kansas City. I still would put Cincinnati and a little others, maybe Baltimore because of the experience over Houston right here, right now.
There you go, Joe. I got some football in for you.
It's not enough.
I know it's probably not enough for you.
It's not enough.
I'll try to give you a little bit more tonight. I'll see you at 8 o'clock East on the radio side for Carver and Lisi on SportsGrid Radio, weeknights 8 p.m. East. On the grid, of course, at Sirius XM 159, yeah. Joe. I will see you there. We have Haro tonight as well, along with all the live games that will be going on for that. Tremendous job by you today, Joe. Great job on a Golf Wednesday. Geez, Brady Cannon, Cam Stewart, Keith Stewart. We had Coach. We had Davis. We had Gabe. We had everybody in the mix here today, Joe, which was a fun one. Great job by Mafia, Luke, and the crew. Yes, quickly.
Yeah, before we go, Ben Silverman, Rico Hoey.
I'm not. You can't be on Golf Wednesday. You can't be.
David Skins, top 10, top 20.
Skins.
Him.
Game Time Decisions is next. Scotty will be back tomorrow, of course, on Ferrall Coast to Coast. Have a good night. Captain Gifford. See you then.